All right.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. We're back. Welcome to the Howard Experience Show, MINDHEAD series, with myself and Chris Shelton here in the background. As stated earlier, we're down here, downtown city. We're down here in Chumon Bay, and we're going to talk story. Got a lot of different things to talk about today. You know, all the things happening locally in our election process, as well as maybe we'll throw in some cannabis news, and maybe some other things. So again, if you turned in earlier, you saw a little bit of the smoking that was going on with the Kaylee Smoke and Grill. They're getting stuff ready. We have that smoker behind us, and while we talk, they're going to be doing their thing. Again, if you want to come and check out a new spot, come on down here. It's one of our friends that own this place, and check out what they got. I'll let Chris jump in here real quick while I check the sound on my side through our little equipment that we have, and we'll get the conversation started.
Yeah, Chumon. Cool. Hey, unfortunately, I gotta leave tomorrow, but I'm glad I got the opportunity one more time to check in with James while I was here. This was a fantastic month, and you know, love Guam as much as I always have. It seems like there's a lot going on, but it always seems that way in an election year. And I don't know, it seems like this year, more so than other years, I guess, people really want to know what their options are, really want to know who's going to do what. I guess it feels a little bit like that every election, but for me, I've been through a lot of election cycles out here, and this one seems a little different. It seems like the people are on the cusp of, you know, calling for some change or trying something different, or at least stopping some of the problems that have been going on for a long time. I mean, a lot of this is said every time, no matter what. Yeah. But this time it seems like the sum total of everything has actually got people, you know, ready to do something about it.
People are moving.
Yeah.
People are moving. People are talking. One of the things that I can add on to what Chris is saying, definitely there is, you know, the talk is always there when you listen to some of these campaigns.
Political season is that all the time.
I'm going to give you free this. I'm going to give you free that. I think one of the great quotes we got from one of the shows we did the other week with Jeff at Jeff's Pirates Code is in the election season, as a politician, one of the things you don't want to forget is to promise everything. That's one of the things that Jeff was talking about in the political mind. Make sure you promise everything. And that kind of gives you a twist of where things are at. Because I think there's still some of that quasi-thinking happening. But a lot of people are waking up. A lot of people are putting out their opinions. There's more outlets of media to definitely push a different message, push truth. And that's kind of some of the things we do on the MINDHEAD.
Yeah, you get more than one opinion about it.
And we're not sponsored by anybody. You know, we're here at this restaurant just because we like the ownership, because they're our friends. We're cool, and guess what? We back each other up. We didn't get a check or anything like that, and that's cool. That's how you should do it in the real world. You got people you know, help them out. Are we signing any laws that are going to make them, you know, richer or more advanced than other people? No, they're working for their money. They're working for their business. They're trying to get people in here to support their families, and at the end of the day, support the community through taxes and other things that they're going to do. And that's kind of what the island really needs. That we need that very truthful, as can be, team of people that put the island first, without any type of reservation on, you know, I owe this, I owe that. I have some other comments that I got this week that I'll talk about as we go on. But
you know, none of the points that have been brought up in the news are like the first time I've ever heard of it. Every issue, the misappropriation of funds, the taking from, you know, rob Peter to pay Paul, moving this to that, and that's been going on for at least since 1990 that I can personally attest to.
Ever since.
But again, for some reason, it feels different this time. It feels like people really. I don't know if maybe it's because the whole national scene feels different this time.
Yeah.
Being in the States for a couple years now, I was out here for 25 years, so I don't have a great reference, but it's very different than I remember. People are really, really angry. You know, both sides of the aisle are really angry at each other, but they don't talk about it. They just express anger towards each other, and it's pretty weird. I haven't, grew up in the 70s, man, and it wasn't like that then. I mean, if you had a difference, you had a difference, but people seemed to air it out, and things were at least attempted to be handled by laws and, legal ways. There's like movements, and there's people in political positions that call for activists to actively go do something against somebody else, and it's just the whole landscape is different, and maybe Guam's going to see some changes as well.
Yeah, well, we hope so. With
I don't know how more taxes are going to help. I just have to say that. I just don't understand how you cannot operate on the amount of taxes that you already get.
Let me rephrase that then.
But
taxes are going to be paid the way they're generally supposed to be paid, on time, as well as given back to the people that have overpaid. That's kind of where I was coming from with that particular statement. Because I agree with you. There shouldn't be more taxes for anybody.
This island doesn't need more money. It just needs to do the right things with the money it already has.
Exactly.
I can tell you this, that Brevard County, the county I live in Florida, is 4 times the size of Guam. It's just a county.
Yeah.
And it doesn't receive $400 million from the federal government.
Wow.
So, how do they do it?
Yeah. I definitely feel there's other areas, districts, places within the United States that
they don't do it great. I'm not saying, oh, wow, they got it nailed down. I'm just saying
similar infrastructure.
And
we can take bits and pieces of what they're doing correct from them, and
vice versa.
I guess at the end of the day, the big thing is there's a big wave of change. There are many people leaving the legislature. As far as senators are concerned, I believe there's 9 on their way out. So there's new blood coming in, and I think that's good.
We have the same issues. We have there's a lagoon, the Indian River Lagoon. It's like a national. It's on the National Park Service kind of thing, and every year or two, there's a new initiative. Hey, how about a 1-cent tax to clean up the lagoon?
Yeah.
And they've probably done that like 15 times. And people were like, hey, what? I don't get it. Where does the $4 million that's generated from this go to every year?
Yeah.
And they trace it back to, and they do the same thing here. Well, we took this to do that and that to do this. But that's not what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
You get the taxes for this money and you don't fix that issue. So it's not like Guam's the only place that happens.
Oh, definitely not.
It's all over the States too. But that just because it's there doesn't mean that it's good.
Yeah.
It's like I talked to Jeff about the comparisons, and he's like, yeah, we shouldn't be compared to anybody else. I agree with you on that. You can compare the things that are done in different places and pick and choose the good and bad parts out of that.
Yeah.
But it should never come out of your mouth that, oh, well, the traffic jam isn't quite as bad as LA. You shouldn't worry about it. That's a nonsensical statement.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not LA, nor ever will it be. Why should you even try?
Yeah.
Where's that comparison come from? That makes no sense.
Exactly.
So, I would like to see Guam figure it out, because I think this is a place that it could happen. In the States, the machine is so huge, I'm not sure how anybody can really affect it at all, ever. But here, it's such a smaller mechanism. that if the people took control of it and the people that were elected did what they said they were going to do, it should improve or change. It's just, you know.
Well, to add on that point, I personally think that the structure we have in our government is too big. You
I
know,
do too.
We have too many moving parts.
Government can't run everything.
Yeah,
It shouldn't run everything.
Government can't run everything, man. The more moving parts you have, the more
Things can break.
Yeah, the more things can break, the more things you're gonna lose count of, the more corruption that you're gonna be faced with, and that's exactly the situation that we're in. And I know everybody's trying to put their best foot forward, and we're trying to use some of our names, what we've done in the past. We're also taking stances, and when I say we, these are the people in the political realm. We're also taking stances now, where some of the decisions are made. It's like, hey, look at me. I've seen this. I'm not going to name the particular senators, but they're kind of like, hey, look at me. Look at what I'm fixing, because I'm fixing it for the people. But my rebuttal is, you could have fixed that thing fucking 3 years ago, man. And why are you only doing it right now? And that's kind of cheap. It's kind of cheap. And
You've had the reins the whole time.
Guess
Why are you
what?
going to yank on them now?
We're not, we're talking about the different dynamic of what's happening these days. The average Joe, us here, guess what? We're not stupid anymore, man. We're informed. Social media plays a big part. Information plays a big part. The speed of information and the way you connect also plays a huge part. As well as, somebody told this to me, a very wise man told this to me a very long time ago. Maybe not too long, but he told me, we're creatures of habit, James. We're creatures of habit. And what that actually means is, in our character, there are certain things that we do over and over again, good and bad. And if you kind of take a look at some of these elected officials that have been in office for decades, for many years, guess what? You already know kind of the telltale signs of what they're doing. And again, I'm not here to judge these people, who they are, their character, or what they do, but it needs to be known that we know what you're doing, and we know how to get out of it. And guess what? The time is coming very soon where the new blood is going to come in if you don't help with the change, if you don't help with our island and making it a better place, not only to live, but to bring in more people, people that are not being drained out of the community. We talked about brain drain.
Yeah.
And what brain drain is, if you don't know already, is a lot of the people that we've invested money in, talent. Homegrown talent, either natural given abilities, athletic, or very
whatever they learned here.
Very intelligent as far as their upbringing or schooling. Guess what? They don't want to make Guam their primary home because the opportunity is
Elsewhere.
nil. And they'd rather go to places like Texas, California, New York, to expound on what
Even
they want.
Honolulu.
Yeah, even Honolulu of all places. That place is packed already. So, yes, we're talking about election right now, but I think there's a bigger picture of moving forward on taking this opportunity. Yeah, there's a lot of things happening, man. People are if you look at the paper, if you look at the media, it's really kind of a circus. It's he did that, she said this is happening. There's allegations, there's corruption. All these things are just snowballing. We need to get a grip. We really need to focus on what's best for us.
And ask people right? Is any of the things you just mentioned, are those shocking to anybody you know? Is it like people are going, oh my God, I've never heard of such a thing?
Yeah.
No, they've heard it their whole lives. It's been
Exactly.
going on here as long as they've been here.
Exactly.
So,
Let's fix it. Let's fix it.
It's
So if you're a person, vote, be informed, ask questions.
Vote.
Don't, if you can, just don't do the same thing you've been doing.
Party lines are not
Educate
good
yourself.
for the populace, okay?
Yeah.
You need to vote your conscience, you need to be informed and make good decisions for yourself, your family, and your fellow man. You can't, you can, but it is not good for you or anybody else to just vote one side always because you're a this or a that. That doesn't really help anybody, except it keeps the person in there giving you exactly what you've gotten. You know,
Over and
keep
over.
doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result.
Isn't that the definition of insanity?
Einstein.
Insanity, that's the definition.
Yeah, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different
A
result.
different result.
It doesn't. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
information. This is a fantastic venue. People are using it, and I encourage them to continue because the informed person can make a better decision than the
Yes.
uninformed person.
You know, one of the other big opportunities I see personally in the election this year also is new voters. You know, if you kind of look at the voting pool that we have, there is huge opportunity in getting new voters to push whoever is running for office as far as pushing their platform. I know some of the argument is, you know, some of the new voters will register, but they'll never actually show up to vote because of all the different things that are happening. So, you know, if you're out there and you're making yourself known, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind that there's a lot of voters in Guam that possibly can partake in this process,
And for any number of reasons, they don't vote. But you know, there could be a lot of different reasons. But I would encourage people to vote. That's your shot at participating in the American society. The way that capitalism in the US of A works is that once a year, or however many years apart, you get a chance to elect somebody. And you know, man, you just can't expect anything to get any better if you don't know anything about it, and you don't. Oh, I'll vote. Who you vote? I'll just vote for that guy. I
be
guess.
part of the solution.
It really matters.
Yeah.
And you need to be informed and know what you're voting for.
The bigger thing is going to matter to the leadership. It's going to matter to the people that are running for the office as well. Because guess what? They need to take in consideration who this pool of people are that are voting them into office, and them telling you're going to be a constituent saying, "Hey, this is what we need," and that's how you get your voice heard.
That's how Clinton beat Bush.
Yeah, that's how.
He talked to MTV and Bush didn't.
Exactly.
And so 30 million new voters that had never voted before voted for Clinton instead of Bush.
There you go. They got inspired. They
Hey, this guy's younger and he's
What-
more on my side.
was that Rock the Vote?
That was maybe.
Rock the Vote. I think that was with P. Diddy or some shit.
I think it was before
It was
that.
before.
But yeah, for real, Clinton beat Bush because he went and talked to the youth.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's one
And that was a Clinton.
But yeah.
So again, folks, you know,
there's
you're out-
issues to solve, and you guys can help do it instead of just being a victim of it.
be involved. Stay in touch with you know, the different news that's happening. Make it a topic of conversation. Be smart about it. Again,
You guys know these people. You know what's so cool about Guam? You know, when I go back to Florida, I could spend the rest of my life, you know, working in any given establishment and never once see the governor. But here
let's go
on
to
Guam,
Shannon.
you could be serving drinks in here tonight and he might walk in. Or he might be at that bar, or he goes to this place. And you guys know these people. They're like close to you. Really close. The whole political system exists like right within your reach.
It's here. You know, it's funny you should mention that.
We're not far removed from the hub of the wheel.
On our way over here, we saw Ray Tenorio on ITC intersection. He was waving it at everybody when the clouds were out because it wasn't so sunny.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. So, you know, we're talking about elections. We wanted to get some feedback from an everyday citizen. And we got one of the workers. His name is Shannon. And she's going to kind of give us her view, if she's okay with that, on how she thinks about the government process and the election for this year. What do you think? Because there's a lot of people watching. I think there's like
how many people are
I think there's
watching?
like 2 people watching.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay, I'm not as. How many people are really watching?
I don't
though?
know.
Okay. What are my views on?
What do you think? How can we make this best for Guam?
What do you see? What do you want to see change?
I feel
Looking
like
through the camera.
okay. No, I was thinking, yeah. You know, because when you do interviews for like the news, they tell you to look off of the camera, not into the
This is
camera.
not the news, man.
Okay,
It's
got
fucking
it.
Howard Experience.
Okay, Howard Experience. Okay.
This ain't no fucking news.
So-
no boundaries. Free your
You
mind.
know, like a couple of things. Like I think that too often we get a lot of the same blanket promises, but no one has a plan. I'm always like, "What's your plan? Do you have a plan of action? Can I see it?" And then like, "Don't worry, education is my priority. Don't worry, the people are my priority." Like, what about the people? What do you know about the people? You know, like right now I'm excited because there's like a lot of everyday people running right now. Like I'm really excited that Sabina
Like who?
Perez is running for senator.
Who?
Sabina Perez.
Sabina Perez.
Sabina Perez.
Sabina Perez, we want to talk to you on the Howard Experience.
And Kelly Marsh is also running. And
Kelly
they
Marsh,
both
we want to
do-
talk to you.
They do a lot of work with Protahila Tekzen. You know, they're talking about like keeping land, preserving our water. You know, they ask a lot of hard questions. They're well educated. And just in general, there's a lot of privileged people who tend to run for office and they don't actually know what happens on the ground. They're the people that have always, they've never wanted for anything. They haven't, you know, they haven't struggled. They don't know what it's like to be in debt and climb yourself out of it.
Can you call the
You know?
names of those privileged people?
No.
And you know, and they don't have to pay, you know, hundreds of dollars.
I know who those
in
privileged
fees
people
for
are.
their health certificate, right? And their ABC license.
You know, just
and
like
their this
one of the
license.
things, okay, so I'm a teacher, right? 10 months out of the year, and then over summer I always get, I get a restaurant job, right? Keeps me busy, it keeps me from going crazy. I don't know how other teachers like chill all summer long. But just to get my health certificate, my police and court clearance, my ABC license, I spent over $125
Well,
to
For
do
the
all of that.
privilege to give them some more tax money?
Yeah, for you know, and like that, all of that, and
I'm saying.
I drove away from one of my tests going, how is the government poor again? Like, are we poor? Are we just mismanaging our money? Like, so yeah,
Like
this
on an
election,
epic scale.
yeah, you know, and then I also think that in the school system and life and education, like we don't do enough discussing local politics. On Guam, when you're in school, you learn about American government. You have a class that's American government. You learn all about that. And then when it's election season for us, we're like, oh wait, is it the primary?
What does
or
the mayor do in my village?
Yeah, what does the mayor do? Like how
He
how
cuts
do
the
I
grass.
know
What
what's
does the
good?
deputy anything do anywhere?
You know, why is it that we have so many senators? Why do we need so many senators? You know, why is it that the pay of these people, like, why is it that the president is the president of the CEO of GBB? Why does he make so much money?
right?
You know, like what? Why does GBB have all this money going to all these things? Why do they need to buy 700 shell necklaces?
And you don't even have a school to teach it.
Right.
Dude, real deal.
She doesn't have a school. Okay, I'm going to ask Shannon one more question before she goes back to work.
Yeah,
This is a question that we asked Jeff at Jeff's Pirates Cove. If you were given the key to the island, meaning you had the ultimate power, she had the ultimate power, folks, meaning
You've been elected.
she's
It's
been
your
elected.
call.
It's her call. What are you going to do first? Bam.
Wow, that's a hard question. What would I do first? My first focus would be on sustainability. Like really focusing on sustainable power, sustainable food sources, protecting our water, and growing economy through that sustainability. Getting rid of the Jones Act. That's all in a pocket. Like those things can't happen without each other. Repealing the Jones Act, like pushing to repeal the Jones Act so that we can work on export, and then also work on import, and also get on the table with reunification in the Marianas, and eventually reunification
Shannon for president.
in
Wow.
Micronesia.
You get my vote.
I would like it if Micronesia was a one island, was an island.
One
chain.
people, right?
One people.
Boom.
One Micronesia.
So leadership, think tanks are out there. You need some help? Check her out.
I'm not
For
running
real,
for
there's
office
people
though.
with good ideas, man. Listen on.
And this is kind of the people in your social circle this is what they talk about. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of information out there, a lot of great ideas, a lot of great talent. Let's get that on the table. Let's start making these moves. Let's start making this change. Thank you very much,
Thanks, James.
Shannon. She's going to get back to work, and we're going to continue our conversation.
Yes, continue your conversation.
I would vote for her.
Yeah, she got our vote already. We're going to write her in.
I would vote for Shannon.
How about Ron?
Smart.
You got anything to say to the people about the election year? You want to
Man,
throw
What
it
would
down?
you change?
I stay out of politics, man.
What would you change
Okay,
if you could?
Let's not say politics. Let's just say how you
Oh,
feel as a
it's-
citizen. How do you feel as a citizen? Just get a little-
As a
get a little
citizen,
color.
the tax, my ass is taxed big time.
See?
Okay.
I'm telling you. And why
Why is
if it's
that?
not going to help you any?
Well, because like that, I file a single, and you know, when you make, the more you make, the more they tax. You know,
Right.
they put you in that bracket where you can't get out of.
Do you feel your taxes are being used properly?
Oh no.
Hell no.
Do you ever hit a pothole on the way home, or does your power ever go out when it should?
It goes out a lot. I live in Levon, and just last week we had a power outage for about 30 minutes. Potholes everywhere.
I'm sure it's just because they didn't get enough tax money.
They get enough.
That's what I'm saying.
The government shouldn't be in the business of hospital. They shouldn't be in the business of power.
So here's
the
another
government-
vote for he's echoing Jeff's sentiment.
Oh, yeah.
Privatize it.
Yeah.
Privatize.
The government should just focus on what they're supposed to, which
It's
is
safety.
public health, education.
Yeah, I believe in public school education
Yeah.
too. I think every kid should have the same opportunity of education through 12th grade. And you're right. And after that, I want a fire department, a police department, and an education department.
I mean, honestly, they have.
We don't need
What-
more laws.
I mean, I understand you want to promote the culture and stuff, but a government operation for arts. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. But-
Maybe if we could afford that. But first we have to feed the children and, put books in school. Can't, why bring people here if you can't take care of them when they get here?
My girlfriend's a teacher, and the amount of money she spends out of her pocket is ridiculous.
And I think it's been like that for quite some time.
And she ends up paying
A
taxes.
little more. So we're gonna-
She ends up paying taxes, and then they give her a little $500, which don't amount to anything.
Let me ask you
If they
this.
get
Does
it.
she buy some of her own supplies for school, for the kids?
A lot.
A lot, right?
A lot.
Wow.
But
I know teachers that do the same thing.
Yeah.
And they're so passionate about their work that the tools that they need, guess what? They're not going to rely on that procurement process. They're like, fuck it, I'm just going to go buy the pencils
that's right.
Yeah.
because it's taken 3 weeks already.
Yeah, there's tests tomorrow.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
just
You know.
get it.
My kids need whatever they need.
And again, folks, if you're part of that leadership that's watching this right now, please take it in a way where you're not being offended. This is feedback.
Opportunity.
This
It's
is
an
an opportunity to see what's really happening on the street, so to speak, from people like us.
Call it your SWOT analysis.
Yeah, your SWOT analysis that are living, living life. We're not privileged. I'm not. I didn't come here in a helicopter. However, we're being smart about it, and we're getting some feedback, from everybody, ourselves. And Ron just made a great point. Thank you very much, Ron.
Thank you.
He's smoking here, by the way. We just wanted to get his 2 cents while he was doing
Well,
It's awfully hot out here.
It is. But again, last election was like that. Everybody was tired of everybody, same faces, same faces. It's going to be like that again this
Yeah.
year. I feel there's, 80-something people running? Or 50? But it's a hell of a lot more than it was before.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. There's going to be a lot of people out and new people in.
That's good.
What do you think about the numbers? Like, do you think 15 senators is the right number?
I still think that's too much.
I mean, and they've cut that back from, it was 21 at one point. I remember
Yeah.
that.
At one point it was.
But I'd say there's 12, 15, at least 15 million people in Florida. We have 2.
Yeah.
They want to run so they can get the pension.
I mean, but isn't that part of the
Definitely
tax,
opportunity.
the broken tax cycle?
Uh,
Plenty of opportunities.
let's
to
pace
improve.
ourselves. Let's get the right people in first. Then we can kind of, tweak it as we go.
Yes.
Because I think that's
Steps.
I think that's paramount. We need to do those things first. Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
What do you
Good.
think about the? You think the people trying to see some medical marijuana and/or recreational cannabis, are they gonna get a voice in? Wasn't Tina Munya Barnes asking? She was talking about that years ago.
I'm not sure if that was her that did it. I know that there's, we all know that the medical cannabis has already been passed by the legislature. People voted on it. It's already a law, but it hasn't gone into play because of this lab that we never got.
I don't understand the lab.
Yeah, the whole lab thing is kind of the things we talked about earlier. Was they wanted to test all the products to make sure it was consistent and nobody was going to get hurt.
That's just a shell corporation for somebody they know to make a whole bunch of money.
Exactly.
It's unnecessary, unneeded, complete waste of energy.
Personally, and people who have been following definitely the Howard Experience show as well as the have been a fan on the page. I try to push as much positive cannabis news as possible, and obviously it's become a very hot topic globally. Canada is fully legal this month. Italy and Germany by the end of the year, fully legalized. Saipan by the end of this month. Their legislation is going to be done already as well. And I really feel that GUAM has that opportunity to take that next step to develop an industry that can provide revenue as well as brand the island, increase tourism. I get some feedback from different sources that I've seen in the media that it's not good. Tourism will drop. People from Asia will not come here.
I disagree.
Yeah, I totally disagree, and I'd really like to rebuttal and get your facts straight. Talk to the right people, because everybody I talk to that I know in certain parts of Asia, they're like, "What are you waiting for, guys? What are you waiting for?"
Yeah.
We have a huge opportunity. A lot of people are talking about, well, it's still against the federal law and the banking and all those things, which is correct. But that shouldn't.
Again, those are huge opportunities.
Yeah, that shouldn't stop us from taking the next steps to build on this opportunity we have at our doorstep. And why stop at just medical?
Yeah, it seems some people were still stuck on the fact that some people were even questioning, like, should we reschedule it? Like, that's not so much of, I don't know what to say about that. There's no rhyme or reason for its Schedule 1 status.
Yeah.
It makes zero sense. And I don't know. That's so nonsensical to me that I don't understand why everybody didn't get that. But
The history of it is it was done for industry.
of course, and to punish a certain group
Yeah.
of people
Yeah.
back in the time.
Yeah.
But
We're not there
it's
anymore.
2018, man.
We're
we
not
haven't
there
moved,
anymore.
We haven't moved past that yet. There's a massive opioid epidemic in
Yeah.
America.
Huge.
Massive.
Huge.
Like unprecedented.
People
type
are dying,
numbers.
man.
Yeah.
Like every
And,
hour, there's X amount of people.
Cannabis can be used to get people off of that.
Yeah.
You can detox from heavier stuff using cannabis. And
I believe it.
if for no other reason than just that, I would think somebody would be interested in moving that along. But, logic and common sense don't rarely match up with pen and paper, it seems.
Yeah.
But again, you got an election year, maybe a chance to try to change something.
Definitely a chance to do it. The conversation needs to be had. The discussion needs to be had. Some of the platforms that I've heard already, a lot of the delegates are talking about cannabis, marijuana, but they're kind of talking about it like they're looking at a ledge, and they're kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, we'll talk about it, but we're not prepared to make the jump, because I think there's still this. I don't think it's a fear factor of the public. I think it's more of a fear factor of the money that's going to be lost.
Which is ridiculous because they're not getting it now anyways. Yeah. If they could just, well, I guess maybe I know what you're saying there. A few people are getting it now.
Some people will lose money, and specifically in the pharmaceutical industry. If you look at it, if you look at cannabis as a pain reliever, and you put the pain,
and a possible replacement for opioids.
And a possible replacement for opioids. Guess what? I'm not the expert on pharmaceuticals, but if you were to put opioids and painkillers and cannabis as a painkiller option, which one do I want?
Yeah.
You're going to take the cannabis because
the non-addictive stuff.
You're not going to get addicted. It's not going to be. There's not going to be side effects. Have you ever watched those commercials for pharmaceuticals? Watch out when you take this certain pharmaceutical, because you may end up.
It's a 1-minute commercial and a 2-minute.
You may end up
nausea,
becoming
bleeding,
suicidal, or all these other things.
Suicidal thoughts, and if hospitalization occurs, please consult a doctor.
And all those things. Primary at the end of the day, if you want to talk revenue, somebody's gonna lose some money.
Yeah, I guess that's the way things.
And I understand that as a business person. So, you as a person out there in the internet world, you need to put that in your mode of thinking, and put that on the table, because guess what? That could be an option for you in the future, yourself as well as somebody you love, as an option not only for recreation or adult use, but also for medical use. Why just stop it at medical use when you can just open the gates and not only have it available for everybody who lives on the island, but the other things that can generate visitors, tourism. Shannon earlier talked about how she wanted, if she had the key, she'd like to bring all of the islands together as one people. My thought is same thing with the cannabis line. The whole island community, from Micronesia, Saipan, and Guam, we create a brand that can go worldwide, and we can sell it to the people in Europe. We can sell it to people in the United States.
And eventually, they'd want to come see where this magic takes place.
Exactly. Are we talking about billions of dollars here? Not billions, but it's a start, and it can create industry. And again, if you travel, one of our other co-hosts on the show, Tom Woolley, he's actually going to be in Colorado. I think he's maybe in Colorado already. So he's already in Colorado. He's probably checking out some of the dispensaries and stuff like that. But it's really mainstream now, folks. Have you ever been to an Apple store or even a Best Buy or a very nice, trendy, let's say even as close as a Gucci? This is what these stores look like now. It's nothing beyond the black market. It's a store that you go into. People have electronics. They're going to educate you. They're going to tell you the different strains and the things that you can get.
Yeah, it's not a smelly hippie behind the counter. It's an educated, clean cut. Things are weighed and sealed, and the dosage you're getting and stuff like that. And
and not only do they do that,
and they got so much money, they got no place to put it.
Just last night on Netflix, they have this new show on Netflix. It's called Cooking High. So check this out. The show is they got some celebrities, and then they get these chefs that actually cook with cannabis. So they make cannabis butter, they make whatever their food is with cannabis. And
Then they do the show?
Yeah, they do the show. They give them a time limit, and they talk story while they're cooking. And one of the parts of the show is to see the effects of the THC, which is the psychoactive part of the cannabis. And if you've ever smoked cannabis, that's one of the best parts of the THC is you get into an area where your mind is free, and that's why we kind of always push free your mind on the Howard experience, because you definitely in this day and age, or in any age, you don't want to be stuck with your mundane routines. You want to be able to get creative and read certain things, listen to music, chill out at the beach, ride your bike, do whatever that makes you feel good, and what a better way to do that while on cannabis, because it's a different experience. It's not like drinking and driving, totally opposite.
No, it is not.
And again, educate yourself, get the leadership to really take a look at this, and again, give us the choice to push it forward beyond medical, fully legalized. That's what we want. That's what we need. We will be happy as an island to do so.
And it seems to be pretty much where it's going anyways. So it's kind of one of those, as from a manager standpoint, right? You can be, ahead of the curve, or you could be playing catch up. And you don't want to be playing catch up, because all you did was make your life tough for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
You can be out in front of it and be a trendsetter. You can be the goal to be reached, the standard setter.
It'll take time to set up.
Yeah, but everything does. You can't be afraid of the first step. You go nowhere.
We must set the infrastructure as part of the opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, good. Good.
I'm going to utilize the young men's room.
Young men's room. Well, we got the smoking
Getting
going
pretty
on,
hot
folks.
next to this smoker over here.
It is nice and sunny out here in Tumon Bay. Come on down here if you are hungry. Again, we're at the Kaylee's Smoke and Grill. Right across. That's Bentai, right? Right across Bentai.
Yeah. Did you show on the first half, like your steak and the ribs?
I'm going to do some pictures of the steak. I did this. So you'll see some pictures of
check this place out.
Of the tomahawk that I ordered. I only ate 2 pieces because it's so freaking big.
It's like the Brontosaurus ribs from the Flintstones.
From the Flintstones. But we'll post that up. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. And again, this is Howard Experience Show, MINDHEAD session. We'll be right back, folks.